What a difference a week makes. So after UConn beat Xavier the next day, Geno held a press conference and was asked about Nika Muhl being a finalist for the Nancy Lieberman Award for the best point guard in the country. In this video, I'm going to take a look back at that press conference as well as Nika Muhl's latest press conference after the Big East tournament, as I think that gives an indication of why UConn is UConn. So the next day after the UConn game versus Xavier, Geno was not in a good mood. And during the press conference, he was asked about Nika Muhl being a finalist for the Nancy Lieberman Award. He gave out some praise and acknowledgement for this, saying that she's a hard worker and it's full credit to her.
Nika was named a Lieberman finalist today. To her, to come from where she was at the start of the year with all the responsibility that's been put on her and to be considered one of the top 5 point guards in the country, what does that say about her as well as breaking Sue Bird's record today for single season assists?
Well, given, the number of minutes that she's had to play and the circumstances and, how few scorers there actually are on the court, it's pretty remarkable that she's been able to kind of keep it together this long. And I know she wasn't, at her best. She wasn't herself today. But there's nobody that, works harder and deserves it more and plays with, more passion and heart.
But then later, yes, later, you're a nice guy, but however, or you did a great job, but however, one of those. Later in the press conference, he proceeded to rip her for being selfish. Now, in truth, he actually labeled the entire UConn team as being selfish, and this wasn't related to not giving the extra pass. No, their selfishness was, in his mind, not being coachable.
So when I say selfish, I don't mean like they won't pass the ball to somebody that's open or, they'll take a horrendous shot. I'm talking about like they pick and choose when they want to listen to how they're being coached. And I define that as being selfish. That you only care about what you want to do and not what you're expected to do. And I could see it once, twice, 3 times. There's players on our team that for 5 months have been watching film after games and have seen themselves in the same clips over and over and over and over and over and over again. And nothing changes.
He outlined later in this press conference an example of this selfishness was Nika Muhl and how for years they've been telling her to use 2 hands when taking the ball to the basket, but she insists on going for one-handed finger rolls. He also talked about how she tries to do the impossible pass, but she can't do this as she's not D or Sue Bird. Take a listen.
I don't think I ever saw Sue or D miss layups like she misses. So in some ways, she's not like them. And she shouldn't be. She should be Nika. And being Nika is really, 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 really good for us. She doesn't have to be more than she is. She just needs to be steady Nika every day. And for the most part this year, she has been. She's cut down on her fouls. She's cut down on the silly turnovers, the mad rushes into God knows where, driving into the lane and then, doing this kind of stuff, But it's like, we're working on finishing at the rim, and she goes in there, and she's not the only one. She goes in there and she takes the ball one-handed, like it's Kobe. She can't palm the ball, by the way. But she thinks she can just take the ball and go up there and make it do whatever she wants it to do. I said, Nika, I don't think that's going to work in big games. She still does it. That's what I'm talking about.
Now, if you're watching this from the outside, you're likely thinking, man, what an a-hole for ripping this player in the press after a night where she was named one of the top point guards in the country. It looked like the end of UConn's season could get very, very ugly, as it was easy to envision a scenario where Nika Muhl would have no time for Geno and vice versa. Oh, what a difference a week makes. UConn gets some rest, and then they come out and dominate the Big East tournament, winning in the finals versus Villanova by over 20 points. Geno celebrates by impersonating Elaine from Seinfeld, doing a hideous dance, and here we go. Now, the mantra in the media seems to be, it's March, and UConn always is ready to play in March, which is true. That's why they're currently the fourth favorite to win the championships, paying plus 900. But what I found more interesting was the press conference Nika Muhl did the next day after UConn won the Big East tournament. The focus of the press conference was that Nika Muhl had won Best Defensive Player in the Big East and that she had broken Sue Bird's assist record. Now, Nika Muhl's attitude and demeanor during the press conference wasn't, I told you so, or chip on her shoulder. No, it was just gratefulness. She described how Sue Bird FaceTimed her the next day and how cool it was to be contacted by Bird.
Oh, it meant a lot. She actually, she called me, she FaceTimed me the day after I broke her record. And I don't usually answer unknown FaceTime calls ever. So she was lucky that I answered it. I don't ever answer. It was crazy. This was probably the first or second one I've ever answered in my life. So I answered, I'm like, who is that? I'm in my robe. I have a towel on my head, like just straight out of the shower. And I answered, and it's Sue Bird sunbathing somewhere tropical. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. So she congratulated me and she told me how proud she is. And we had a nice little chat. And I really appreciate that. I told her I respect you so much.
As expected, she's a class act. When talking about the people she had to thank, she went on and on about her teammates. And then, as well, she was effusive in her praise of the coaches, saying she would dedicate the defense award to them, saying she's so happy that they did not give up on her, as she described herself as uncoachable earlier in her career, and acknowledged that she's still not the most coachable now. Take a listen.
How good teammates I have, but I mean, of course, I would be nowhere without Morgan, CD, Jamel, and Coach. I feel like they never gave up on me, and this award is definitely, I would dedicate it to them because they could have given up on me a lot of times, I will tell you. So, and they never did, and they believed in me. So just a proof of hard work and belief from my teammates and my coaches.
Why could they have given up on you?
Because I was uncoachable. I was, ever since I came here, I was very uncoachable. I still wouldn't say I'm the most coachable right now, but to see my growth and how far I've come, it means a lot, and I'm so thankful to them for never, giving up on me.
Nika Muhl reflected a bit on her UConn career and why she came to UConn. She talked about how she had options to play in Europe, but was grateful for her 4 years at UConn. She summed this up perfectly at the end of the press conference. Take a listen.
It was hard for me to choose whether I would come here and pursue my education and play on another continent, basically, or stay in Europe closer to family, start making some money playing basketball over there. It definitely had its ups and downs both ways, but eventually what really, really, made me come here is just UConn. There's no way around it. No money could replace it. No other experience could replace it. NBA Academy was extremely helpful. It gave me a little glimpse of what life in America would be. Different people from different cultures playing together, which is what we have here. But ultimately, the thing that made me come here is UConn itself and Coach Geno Auriemma. And there's nothing else in the history and the culture of this place. This was the reason why I came here, and I'm glad I chose that path.
I hope you enjoyed the video. If you made it this far, please give it a like. As well, please subscribe to my channel as it helps the channel grow. Thank you.